Did a heartfelt confession from Jungkook just open up an old wound long hidden between him and Taehyung? Why did his short statement make millions of armies cry around the world? What is really happening when two friends who used to be so close are now separated not only by the thousands of kilometers between Paris and America, but also by emotions slowly being revealed one by one? The K-pop world is once again shaken, not by a new song release or stage achievement, but by something far more personal, a deep confession from Jeon Jungkook about Kim Taehyung. In an exclusive interview that had never been released before, Jungkook finally spoke up, and what he said created a wave of emotion among armies across the globe. "I just found out about this now," he said with teary eyes. That sentence, though it sounded simple, held a deep and confusing meaning. The question is, what did Jungkook just find out? And why is it so painful? The interview took place unexpectedly during Jungkook's tight schedule in the United States. He had just finished a recording session and seemed to be relaxing in a small studio in Los Angeles when a Korean media journalist asked a simple question: "What do you miss most about the old BTS days?" Jungkook paused. Then he answered, "Taehyung." That answer brought silence. No laughter, no smile, just an empty stare reflected from the studio glass. "I just found out about this now, that Taehyung had been keeping everything to himself. All this time I thought he was okay, but I was wrong." Jungkook then lowered his head, and in that moment, millions of armies watching the replay on digital platforms began to feel something strange in their chest, a mixture of loss, emotion, and a big question mark. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Taehyung was in Paris, attending a luxurious fashion event with several global icons. But unlike usual, his expression this time was much more subdued. He seemed to force a smile and hadn't posted anything personal for the past 3 days. What was going on with him? Did he feel the same way as Jungkook? Some fans at the event claimed they saw Taehyung sitting alone on the balcony of his hotel, staring at the Paris night sky. No words, no music, just a long silence and a distant gaze, as if deeply thinking about someone. And right after Jungkook's confession spread on social media, a mysterious post appeared on Taehyung's weverse account. "I just want someone to truly see me without me having to say anything." That sentence immediately stirred up excitement. Was this the answer to the guilt Jungkook now feels? Armies, who have faithfully followed their journey, know how deep the friendship is between Taehyung and Jungkook. The two are known as soulmates, an inseparable duo, always seeming to understand each other even without words. But as Jungkook's confession showed, not everything can be seen from the outside. Not even by the person closest to. I end the interview. Jungkook also revealed that he recently saw old footage showing moments when Taehyung was laughing with the other members, but his eyes weren't smiling. "I was too focused on myself at the time. I was busy with my solo album, practice, concerts. I thought everyone was fine, but apparently not." The emotions felt by armies were mixed. Many were touched by Jungkook's honesty, but also saddened that this pain was only realized now, when both physical and emotional distances had grown so wide. Why did it take this long for them to talk? One fan wrote on Twitter, "They need to talk face to face. Jungkook, go to Paris." Meanwhile, theories began to surface. Some armies speculated that Jungkook's confession was actually a response to subtle messages Taehyung had been sending in recent months. In one previous interview, Taehyung once said, "Sometimes I wish I could freeze time, so the people I love could stay with me longer." That sentence is now being reread by fans in a completely new context. Is this a sign that their relationship is cracking? Or is this the beginning of an emotional reconciliation long delayed? Some fans call it a silent heartbreak between two friends who've been through so much together, yet forgot to check in on each other amid overwhelming busyness and pressure. Close sources revealed that after the confession, Jungkook was seen secretly contacting someone and canceling a minor schedule in New York. Rumors began circulating that he was considering flying to Paris unexpectedly. But as of the time this article was written, there has been no official confirmation from bighit or their agency representatives. The question now lingering in everyone's minds is, will they talk? Will Jungkook dare to contact Taehyung and say directly what he feels? And is Taehyung ready to listen? Even more surprising, in a short live broadcast Jungkook did that same night, he played an old BTS song, The Truth Untold. With a serious expression, and without saying much, he sat in silence, letting the song play. ARMYs watching the broadcast immediately sensed the hidden meaning behind that song. An apology? A confession? Or a sign that he's ready to fix something long neglected? Some pop culture analysts called this moment an emotional earthquake in the history of BTS members' relationships. It's not just a confession, but a deep reflection on emotional dynamics long suppressed. Under the pressure of being global superstars, the small things are often forgotten. Checking in on each other, hugging a friend, or simply listening. And now, when everything has reached a point of emotional fatigue, only honesty can open the door to healing. Perhaps this is the time for Taehyung and Jungkook to talk. Not as world-famous stars, but as two friends who once promised to protect each other no matter what. The world may change, schedules may be packed, and distance may separate continents, but a sincere heart should never lose its way. ARMYs can now only hope. Waiting for the moment when these two voices, once united in musical harmony, will reunite in a conversation full of understanding. And maybe when that time comes, the sentence, "I just found out about this now," will turn into, "Thank you for still being here." This article will continue to be updated as the situation develops. Stay with us for the latest information on the emotional relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung, which now belongs not only to the two of them, but has become a mirror for all of us about the meaning of friendship, honesty, and forgiveness. After the previous article sparked numerous speculations and emotional reactions from ARMY around the world, it is now important to present an equally important clarification. The entire narrative about Jungkook's confession about Taehyung, that was said to have made ARMY cry, turns out to be not based on facts. That article is a narrative construction that is fictional in nature and does not originate from any official source. There was no exclusive interview with Jungkook in the United States in which he said he just found out now about Taehyung's emotional condition. There has never been any recording or public statement from Jungkook on the topic that can be verified. In fact, to this day, Big Hit Music, the agency managing BTS, has never released an official statement regarding the personal relationship dynamics between Jungkook and Taehyung as described in that article. Furthermore, Taehyung's presence in Paris and Jungkook's in the United States are indeed factual during certain moments due to their personal or professional schedules. However, emotional interpretations of their facial expressions, social media posts, or song choices during live broadcasts are subjective assumptions that lack valid journalistic basis. There is no confirmation that The Truth Untold played by Jungkook was related to feelings toward Taehyung, and no evidence that Taehyung's weverse post was specifically directed at Jungkook. News like this, which combines bits of real facts, public activity schedules, with emotional speculative narrative, can easily go viral among fans. Especially when seasoned with dramatic language, rhetorical questions, and layered imagination resembling fanfiction or drama scenarios. Unfortunately, when such content isn't accompanied by an explanation that the article is not factual reporting, it can cause widespread misunderstanding. This also highlights the depth of emotion and attention that fans have toward their idols. The relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung has always been in the spotlight of the fandom because of their close friendship and many affectionate moments over the years. However, as public figures, their personal lives are complex and not always interpretable from the outside. As spectators, we are not in a position to claim truths about their relationship, especially when based solely on visual assumptions and emotional interpretation. The practice of building fictional narratives disguised as news is often used to attract clicks and digital attention. But when it's not clearly stated that such narratives are not based on actual events, the consequences can be harmful, not only unnecessarily triggering fans, but also creating additional pressure on the artists themselves as public opinion and expectations can cross healthy privacy boundaries. It's also important to note that BTS, as a group, and as individual members including Jungkook and Taehyung, are currently undergoing military service, solo projects, and various separate activities. Their silence or absence from public appearances does not always indicate problems, conflict or emotional wounds. Sometimes they simply need time to focus on themselves, their careers, or just live their lives out of the spotlight. We emphasize again that the previous article titled, Jungkook's Confession About Taehyung Made Army Cry, I Just Found Out Now, is a fictional narrative that does not refer to actual facts and should not be considered official news or journalistic reporting. It was not written to mislead, but to demonstrate how emotional narratives can form and influence public opinion when not accompanied by solid source confirmation.